Hey, you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north. More specifically, we're in Roscoe, Illinois, and even more specifically than that, we're at historic auto attractions, also known as a journey through time. What we have here is an automobile. I've been through quite a few automobiles traveling across the United States, but this has been recommended to me, and I am told that it has a very expansive collection that goes beyond mere automobiles. So while it started out as an attraction based on automobiles, that their collection has grown to include many other interesting artifacts, and I'm very excited to see this for myself. So please follow me. Heading into the entrance right here. Oh wow, we were immediately hit with cowboys. And we have some very impressive artifacts here. This is a saddle used by John Wayne. Some more John Wayne items here in this case. We have John Wayne's cowboy hat there. There is his cigarette case and his personal shoehorn. Now we have a wax figure of John Wayne back there. It says he is portraying Rooster Cogburn from True Grit, which is one of the few John Wayne movies I've actually seen, but that's a very, very good movie. We have another Western icon, Mr. Clint Eastwood. And I heard an interesting fact. He was famous for having the cigar in his mouth when he played the Western movies, but he actually hated the smoke and just did it for the. And these other three wax cowboys, I didn't recognize them, but apparently they are characters from the television show Bonanza. So yeah, I haven't even seen a car yet, and still really impressed by their collection of artifacts. They even have Gary Cooper's gravestone. This miniature train here is actually used in MGM movies when they're filming miniature scenes, so they wouldn't have to use a whole train. They would use this. This is a real Hollywood mini train. We have different guns from famous Western figures, including Jesse James's revolver there. You can see it's actually quite worn. We also have the revolver of Frank James, the Garfunkel to Jesse James's Simon. Some items from Buffalo Bill Cody, including his jacket and a rifle there. And another wax figure here. This is George Armstrong Custer, known for being killed by Native Americans. And I guess bringing things together, we have a cowboy here. Looks like he is actually made out of car parts. This is an auto museum. Of course, we've not seen a car yet in this auto museum. This is a teller's cage from a bank. It was moved from a bank in New Hope, Kentucky. And this bank here, this teller station, was actually robbed by Jesse James. Have this Native American here next to the teepee. And if you look over here, actually a full-size taxidermy buffalo on the other side. The cabin here. Looks like there's a rooster inside the cabin, and it's an outhouse here. Oh, looks like someone's actually inside the outhouse. Who could it be? Oh, it's Pappy. Hey, Pappy, what you doing? What you doing in that outhouse? I guess I know what you're doing in there. So carry on. Entering the wagon section. Again, not cars, but I feel like we are building up to the automobile. Oh, we have a stagecoach here. I guess this is a mail coach. It says U.S. Mail. We got this figure. These figures are all wax figures. So I don't know if they came from a different wax museum, but these are genuine wax figures here. Let's see who's hiding back there. Okay, we got a couple traveling back there. Woman in her bonnet there. And then this cowpoke here. There's the famous Conestoga wagons that was used to people to travel out west. It says this one traveled from Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Philadelphia in only 6 days. You know, a couple weeks ago I traveled from Philadelphia to Lancaster in less than a day, but I had the benefit of modern technology. Of course, the sign here actually gives an interesting fact that I read that says the Conestoga wagons were the vehicle that originated driving on the right side of the road. Interesting, did not know that. You can see this 1860s hearse. Here, an old horse-drawn hearse. You can see the very spooky driver up there. And here at Historic Auto Attractions, we have our first automobile. And this particular automobile belongs to Mr. Elvis Presley. They actually have a picture of him sitting there in that window. See the statue there of Elvis reaching his hand down, presumably to one of his adoring fans in the front row. And here in front of this Graceland facade, we have some Elvis jumpsuits. There's also a shirt here owned and worn by Elvis Presley. And it says this shirt here on this wax figure was used in the movie Wild in the Country. We have some of Elvis's personal items here, including a cigar butt that was smoked by Elvis. There's his manager, Colonel Tom Parker's string tie. And look at this, this is a pair of Elvis's TCB glasses that he smashed against a wall in a fit of rage. Behind that cool exterior apparently was a man full of rage, as you can see right there. There's a studio microphone that was used by Elvis to record tracks for some of his movies in the 60s. You can see another Elvis wax figure there holding the microphone. Some other celebrities here. We have James Dean. Here he is in his Rebel Without a Cause gear. I think this is one of the more iconic outfits and poses from James Dean. And here he is, I guess, in the movie Giant. You can see him dressed as a cowpoke. And there is a shirt worn by James Dean. You can see him in the picture right there, as well as a life mask of his face. These clothes are from a woman named Linda Thompson. Not 100% sure who she was. So if you know who Linda Thompson is, leave a comment in the comment section. It's a pretty interesting multimedia art piece on Elvis. He has the wires there in his hair. There's a $2 bill clipped to his collar. Now this is pretty fascinating. This is a piece of James Dean's Porsche, the one that he wrecked and died in the accident. It says this is the only known piece of the car. Apparently it was taken from the car wreck, but it says the car itself mysteriously disappeared while being transported from Florida to California. So a whole car vanished in thin air except for that one piece. Okay, I think I've actually heard of this before, the James Dean curse, where the car, people associated with purchasing the car or purchasing pieces of the car ended up dying untimely deaths, saying that there's a long, after James Dean was killed, that a whole list here of people were killed in relation to the car as they were trying to restore it or do things with the car. I guess all this, and then it mysteriously vanished. That's pretty crazy, and it actually makes me nervous being around this chunk of it right here. I wonder if that chunk has any of the curse in it. The Buddy Holly section here, including a pair of Buddy Holly sunglasses. I don't think of him as wearing sunglasses, but more of his trademark regular glasses. Some Marilyn Monroe items. including a pair of her sunglasses and her diamond cigarette case with lighter. This car here actually used by Laurel and Hardy in the comedy short Big Business. And from here we head into the World Leaders section of the museum. Here's the presidential limousine of Evita and Juan Perón, the president of Argentina. And of course, I first heard of Evita Perón from the Madonna movie that came out in the 90s. I didn't actually see it, but I did see the commercials. This car here, literally built for the King of Siam. The King of Siam there, hanging out with his friends. This limousine belonged to King George VI of England. And perhaps the most modest of presidential cars here was Mikhail Gorbachev's 1991 Mercedes. Down at the end here, we have Princess Diana. Oh look, there's the Queen lurking over her shoulder. There's Joseph Stalin's limousine. You only imagine the security measures Joseph Stalin, one of the most paranoid dictators in history, must have had on his car. I don't think it goes without mentioning, this is a really impressive collection. So this is the new edition, so I guess we're entering the new portion of the car museum. It says 50,000 square feet of new exhibits and artifacts. Oh, there's Ulysses S. Grant's carriage. And check this out, they have their own entire hall of presidents here, wax figures of all the US presidents, including most current president there, Joe Biden. That's actually a very nice wax figure. You can see a wax figure of former President Trump as well, doing his trademark finger thumb pose. There we have George W. Bush, and then Bill Clinton in the back, as well as Barack Obama. There we have OG President, Mr. George Washington. One of the more popular presidents, especially here in Illinois, Mr. Abraham Lincoln. Next to him is Andrew Jackson, who, the way it's posed here, looks like some sort of dark-sided alternate dimension Abraham Lincoln. So it doesn't look like they have every single president, but they do have at least the more modern presidents here. Oh, there's Mr. Nixon. Don't trust this guy here. And Gerald Ford, the unelected president back there, as well as Jimmy Carter, and then Ronald Reagan. And we have some U.S. presidents' vehicles here. We have this Lincoln used by Coolidge, and another Lincoln Town Car. This belonged to Donald Trump. Yeah, again, amazing collection here. Richard Nixon's limousine, Herbert Hoover's limousine. This is Dwight Eisenhower's limousine, Lyndon Johnson's limousine. Now we don't have McKinley's limousine, but we do have the hearse that carried his dead corpse. Now we have Dwight Eisenhower's limo, Harry Truman's limo, Jimmy Carter's limo, and Franklin Roosevelt's limo there. We can see Franklin Roosevelt right there, as well as his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. Here we have a collection of international characters. There's King Hussein of Jordan, Yasser Arafat, Anwar Sadat. That's Ayatollah Khomeini sitting back there. We have Winston Churchill. That is Indira Gandhi. Chiang Kai-shek. He was the president of the People's Republic of China. Up here, this is Hirohito, the Emperor of Japan. during World War II. Mikhail Gorbachev there with his trademark birthmark on his head. There's Mao, the chairman of the Communist Party, and Fidel Castro all the way there in the back. Uh-oh, getting ready to head into gangster land through the bars of this jail cell. There's a life mask taken off Dillinger immediately after his death. I can think of at least one problem with that statement. Quite the collection of John Dillinger items here. There is John Dillinger's pistol right there. And not only do they have John Dillinger's pistol, but they have the gun used to kill John Dillinger. You know what they say? Live by the gun, die by the gun. A section on Bonnie and Clyde here. You can see the bullet-riddled car. Of course, this is not the actual car. This is a recreation. There was a lot of fake Bonnie and Clyde cars that were traveling around the country on exhibit after their deaths. But they do have something rather amazing here. While they don't have the Bonnie and Clyde death car, they have Bonnie and Clyde's death hats. These are the hats that were worn by Bonnie and Clyde when they were gunned down by police in Louisiana. Here's John Dillinger's Studebaker. It says right on the side, used in the police arsenal robbery, October 1933, $75,346 stolen. Some Al Capone items over here, including these vault doors that were used in Al Capone's headquarters. This is pretty amazing. This is a 1932 bulletproof Cadillac used in the Chicagoland gangster area. Now you can see where bullets have been reflected off the glass here. These large holes had to use to actually shoot out of the car. You stick machine guns out those holes to fight in the gang wars. Wow. Chicago really was a war zone back then. We have Hugh Hefner's limousine there. To head into the unique creations section, I guess these are unusual vehicles. This is the bumper car, but it's not like a bumper car like you would see at a carnival with where you'd bump into other people. This is a car made entirely of bumpers. The sign here says to ask yourself, is it an airplane, a boat, or a car? Or maybe all of the above. Here we have some heavily modified farming equipment. This is the Madsen Power Blaster here, and a super powered wheelbarrow there. Here's a wooden car. I don't know a lot about cars, but I do feel that wood is not the optimal material on which to make a car out of. But you can't tell these two guys that. This car here holds the Guinness World Record for lowest car. It does indeed look rather low to the ground. And on the hood there is a mural of this car being flattened by a steamroller. Seems like a rather bare bones car there. It says, can you guess what year I am? 2021. Nope, 1942 Ford. There's the bicentennial money car. Car is completely covered in all sorts of coins, and it says it is the largest bicentennial project by an individual. It actually has little plaques all over the car giving facts about the car itself. So the car weighs 2.5 tons with the coins composing an extra ton. As we walk around the back here, you can see silver dollars there on the hood. It looks like it has some interesting individual coins here on the back. Okay, and it says here that all the coins, except for the very rare ones, are from 1976 as a way to celebrate the bicentennial. Section here on racing cars and racing motorcycles there. Here we have some giant-sized speedboats. This is the camel-powered boat from Smokin' Joe's Racing. And look who we have here. It is Bigfoot, the one of the most famous monster trucks of all time. Just look at the size of these tires. Look at that. That's a tire. And when I did my Lincoln Highway road trip, drove by the Bonneville Salt Flats. That's actually where they try to break land speed records using vehicles such as this one. This land speed record car is known as the Proud American. See, it's got another truck that just serves to carry that, because you just don't really drive that down a normal road. You'd only use that while in the process of trying to break records. This here is a Florida swamp buggy. Looks like it's sponsored by Dr. Pepper. This is the first Ford Model T to ever climb to the top of Pikes Peak in Colorado. I have a farmer here plowing his field. Oh, in this case, we have a rare Bengal tiger. This is a very strange car here. This is a 1973 Mose Safari car. And if you look, you can see the outside is actually padded. It is covered in polyurethane foam. Idea is to make it quieter. It's interesting having the exterior of a car covered in foam. And yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it would help in car accidents, help car accidents be a little less intense. But yeah, I'm sure that that foam probably doesn't do very good in the hot sunlight. Anyways, about 3 of these were made, it says. This is the Mose Ostentine Opera sedan, meant to be a luxury car of the future, built in the late 60s. Very interesting car. It does not have doors on the side. It only has one big door on the back. See, look, it does look pretty luxurious inside, those big foamy padded seats. But yeah, an interesting design element to just have one big hatch in the back for everyone to pile into. I don't know, maybe it's not that bad of an idea. Looks like a lot of fun. Now this is really interesting. This is Miss Belvedere right here. And Miss Belvedere was a time capsule in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They buried this Plymouth, 1957 Plymouth, buried the car underground at the Tulsa courthouse. You can see it buried there. So they had some other items inside, and they meant to have it perfectly preserved so that someone could take it and drive it in when it was removed. They pulled it out of the ground in 2007, but water had leaked into it and completely destroyed everything inside the car and rusted it quite a bit. And I guess they're working to restore it here. This is a really crazy story, and even says here they put gasoline cans in the trunk in case gasoline wasn't available in 2007. Well, that's some good thinking. Here is the Journey Through Time. Oh, okay. It's clocks. We got clocks here in the Journey Through Time. Oh, and some old-timey ladies as well. Hey there, old-timey lady. A giant, oversized guitar here. And I don't know, there's someone in the hole. Oh, is that Johnny Cash? Have some personal items of Patsy Cline there, as well as Hank Williams Sr. Oh wow, that's pretty nuts. Here is a chariot that was used in the Charlton Heston film Ben-Hur. The Egyptian artifacts section here. Oh, we have a Sphinx display, but that's coming soon. So there's just some movie props in this case. I have a stool from the film Cleopatra. And these garments here were used in the Ten Commandments, the Charlton Heston film. There is some bracelets used in the Ten Commandments film. A chair from the film Cleopatra. And there we have Cleopatra herself. Some famous glasses here. We have Thomas Edison's glasses. That is absolutely wild. Perhaps even wilder, we have Nicolas Cage's glasses from National Treasure. The Houdini section here with some various handcuffs and shackles owned by Houdini. We also have a straitjacket used by Houdini. See the Houdini wax figure there, wrapped up in this straitjacket sack. We have a 9/11 memorial room, which not only has this statue of a firefighter, but we have the names of all those that lost their lives in the World Trade Center attacks. And here is the original blueprints of the Twin Towers that were knocked down on 9/11. Here we enter the Hall of Christ. So we take a step into the Last Supper, the wax version of the famous painting here. Oh, it's actually the painting right there. You can see Jesus in the middle, his apostles here on the sides. You can always recognize that no good stinking Judas. He's got his bag of coins. He brought his bag of coins to the table that he was going to use. He received from turning his back on Jesus. And we saw quite a few presidential limousines. But here's the real deal. Colonel Sanders' limousine. The president of chicken, if you will. Lincoln has his own exhibit here. So this carriage actually used to transport Lincoln and Mary Todd to Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. So probably a ride they regretted. It's a chair from the White House. We can see another wax figure of Lincoln here seated in the rocking chair. Some more just amazing artifacts here. Mary Todd's mourning veil, as well as her black mourning fan. There's Abraham Lincoln's razor. Of course, he didn't use that too much. He'll have to grow his beard out. And there is the personal spoon of Abraham Lincoln. Looks like he bit down on it a little too hard. Some great artists and authors immortalized in wax. We have Mark Twain here. Of course, I've been to a lot of historical wax museums. I think Mark Twain may be one of the most prevalent figures in wax museums. Then over his shoulder here, we have Mr. Rembrandt, the painter. There's Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote The Little Mermaid. And then these two over here, the Grimm brothers, wrote Grimm's fairy tales. Here we have Vincent van Gogh. This wax figure has both its ears, so this is before the ear chopping incident. Then Ernest Hemingway there, famed author, and painter Pablo Picasso. And a man whose name has pretty much grown to just mean genius, Mr. Albert Einstein, as well as Mr. Benjamin Franklin, famously not one of our presidents. Uh-oh, we found our way to the Nazi section. Some of Hitler's artifacts here, including Hitler's armband and some of his wife's items as well, including Eva Braun's lingerie there. All these fascist vehicles here, but they do make it clear here that You know, these are not positive things. These are not things that are endorsed by the museum. These are historical collections. Yeah, there's the piece of garbage, worst human being ever right there in wax form. But yeah, this is Hitler's staff car. So, wow, really ominous. Like, obviously, absolutely disgusting, everything that they stand for. Yeah, Heinrich Himmler's car there. There's Benito Mussolini's limousine there. And just another piece of garbage right there. World leader cars extend over here. Emperor Hirohito's limousine. This limousine belonging to Nikita Khrushchev. And then John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy's Lincoln right there. Have some of the clothing of Jackie Kennedy there. It says the gown she's wearing is an evening gown that was actually owned and worn by Jackie Kennedy. I have an exhibit here on the Kennedy assassination. This here, not the actual car that Kennedy was sitting in. That's actually at the Henry Ford Museum. But this is actually the Secret Service car that was directly following Kennedy during the assassination. That's pretty remarkable. A massive collection of artifacts from the Kennedy assassination, including the grassy knoll fence, piece of fencing from the actual grassy knoll, where some theorize there may have been another gunman. John Kennedy's fedora there. Of course, Kennedy actually famous for not wearing hats, actually popularized the idea of men not wearing hats. Some Lee Harvey Oswald artifacts as well, including the suit that Lee Harvey Oswald was married in. There is the shoes that Jack Ruby was wearing when he shot Oswald, and Jack Ruby's hat as well. Here's a reenactment of Jack Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald. You can peek in here. Oh yeah, you can see that famous grimace on Lee Harvey Oswald's face as he was shot. Here we actually have Jack Ruby's polygraph test. Apparently Jack Ruby took a lie detector test, and according to this, it says that polygraph proved, or at least indicated, that Jack Ruby had met Lee Harvey Oswald prior to the assassination, and that he had been part of the conspiracy. Now this is the window, next to the window at the book depository that Lee Harvey Oswald shot out of. It says that the original window is owned by the FBI and in storage, but this is the window next to that window. And then here is the ambulance that would have taken Lee Harvey Oswald to the hospital after he was shot by Jack Ruby. In this room, we have the actual flag that was draped over Kennedy's casket, and over top that is a chandelier from the actual White House. A collection of furniture and outfits worn by presidents and first ladies. Over here we have a life mask of Rutherford B. Hayes, as well as George Washington. So amongst the White House furniture, we do have the Martin Luther King chair owned by Martin Luther King Jr. Can be seen here in wax form. Some of Jackie Kennedy's designer shoes, and there's her head. See a replica of Air Force One there. Actually see from the cutout that there's actually an upstairs on an airplane. And amongst this massive collection of JFK memorabilia, we do have a little corner here for Bobby Kennedy. Heading into the NASA section. The space capsule here, so we can walk up and peek inside at the astronauts. Here's a pretty insane artifact. This is a biopack couch that was used to launch a chimpanzee in space. Ham, the chimpanzee, was launched into space in this capsule and successfully returned to Earth. Entering the superhero section. Here we have Batman standing over his collection of Batmobiles. This is, I think, the Michael Keaton era Batmobile. Then over here we have the Adam West Batmobile, which I think is probably the most iconic Batmobile. Oh, and look, got Superman hanging out over here. And this is the Bat Rocket. So we can see some of Batman's arch nemesises, the Joker and the Penguin. The Flintstones car here, and it says that this is a police outfit, a caveman police outfit used in the film Viva Rock Vegas. There is the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future, one of the most iconic movie vehicles of all time. There we see Doc and Marty looking on in awe. It's the Ecto-1, the ghost fighting mobile used by the Ghostbusters. So we have one of the Ghostbusters back here. We can see his ghost fighting proton pack. We have a police car here from the Andy Griffith Show, as well as Barney Fife there in wax. I don't know who this mechanic is. I never watched the Andy Griffith Show, so if anyone knows who that mechanic is, leave a comment in the comment section. Here's a scene from the show Sanford and Son. It says here that these are the original outfits used in the television production of Sanford and Son. This looks like a very tense confrontation here. One of my favorite movie vehicles, the Family Truckster from National Lampoon's Vacation. You see the multiple headlights up there, the dead ant on top of the car. And then we have Mr. Chevy Chase. Of course, he is in his National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation gear in this photo. Here's the truck from Sanford and Sons, and then a giant Bugs Bunny mobile. Here's some items from Gone with the Wind. I've never seen Gone with the Wind, but I've been meaning to watch it for a while. Apparently these pillars were actually used in the movie, and then this painting of Clark Gable that was displayed during the opening Gone with the Wind, and then a mirror here that was actually used in the movie. You can see the scene there where the mirror was used. So hello. The final section here at Historic Auto Attractions is the Animal Kingdom. We have a taxidermy room to finish things off. Why not? Why not? Oh, look at this big polar bear there. Oh, look at the wolf lunging. Oh, look at that big snarling Alaskan brown bear there. Some tinier bears there. A wolverine. Yeah, in case you ever wondered what Wolverine from X-Men was based off of, it's this little guy here. There's a harbor seal, a rhinoceros, and a mongoose in its epic battle with a king cobra. A lioness there, a tree sloth, and one of nature's most vicious killers, the baboon. And there is a full-sized taxidermied elephant in here. This place is full of surprises around every corner. Oh, look at that hippopotamus head bursting from the wall there. That big old alligator. Some more animals over here. Some bears. Big moose back there. And look at this dangly possum here. Looks like he's doing some gymnastics. There's a mountain goat and its close relative, the mountain lion. Big old giraffe up there. And before we exit, this canoe full of critters says goodbye. So thank you for joining me here at Historic Auto Attractions. And I must say, the name is honestly misleading. Yeah, I guess it did start out as a car museum, but as you can see from this video, it is a sprawling complex with all sorts of different exhibits, different subject matter, different amazing artifacts. Like one of the largest collections of JFK assassination artifacts in there. There's a wax museum's worth of wax figures. There's presidential limos from different presidents, including other world leaders. So just a remarkable sprawling complex I would definitely recommend checking out if you are in the Roscoe, Illinois area. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these videos, please subscribe. It'll let you know when new videos arrive. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider donating to Patreon. $3 or more will get you a postcard once a month from me to you. Also selling enamel pins in the Etsy shop. All that goes to help keep this train on the track, this boat in the water, and this dirigible in the air. Until next time, my friends, this one's in the bag.